What's good, y'all? It's me, Chris. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing what I like to see from television in 2021. But before we get into that, I would just like to say Happy New Year to everyone out there. I hope everyone was able to have an enjoyable New Year in the best way possible. With this pandemic out there is really wreaking havoc on us all. It has us not being able to normally celebrate this time of the year as we usually would, like amongst our friends and families and groups and large gatherings with champagne and music and just counting down the new year with so much glee and hopefulness. Like it's just unprecedented times in our lifetime, and a lot of us had to do unique celebrations, whether that be just celebrating alone at home amongst your roommates or whoever you live in your household, either through like Zoom calls. So shout out to y'all for still trying to keep that cheer of this time of the year while staying close to your loved ones. Everyone's been doing such a good job, except for Atlanta. Lord Jesus, shut down that city. They were turned up for New Year's Eve for no reason. There's no reason, but I'm happy that we've made it through the new year. I will say I don't think that just because we're in a new year that I think things are going to change, but what I am happy for, and I'm glad that I, amongst other people, are more prepared for what is to come in this year, and also not to lean into so much having such high expectations of what's to come from the year as we did the year before. So that's what I am um, the most excited about, is just thinking of this pandemic as a past, as a learned experience, and knowing how to handle and navigate through college, YouTube, family, friends, getting to know people during a global pandemic. So I'm happy about that. I was gonna have a video out for the movie Soul, but I didn't enjoy it enough to watch it a second time. When I do television and movie reviews, I watch things twice. I just found like I really love the atmosphere of the movie. I love that we got to see finally black animated characters in a full feature film and not just a part of the story. But there was just a few things from a creative aspect that I didn't enjoy and enjoy enough to really dive deep into. Like a decent amount of content creators have discussed their problems about it. If you're active on social media, you've seen conversations go down. So we're just leaving Soul in 2020 and looking forward to entertainment in 2021. I've always been an avid television watcher since I was a kid. I really love the format in which television is able to tell stories. You get much more breathing room in which to tell a character's story, so you get much more backstory, you get full fleshed out objectives, you get just more world building. It's very comforting to tune in every single week with these characters that you've grown to love. They're literally with you through times in which you're adolescents or parts of your adulthood. It's like they're taking this journey of life with you. So I've always connected much more to television because there's so much like a continuance in which you tell stories on television versus a movie being like one and done. So last year I consumed quite a bit of television since I've just been keeping my black ass home during this pandemic. I've been very fortunate and privileged to be able to stay safely at home. So during this video, I'm just going to be discussing some of the previous shows of 2020 and what I would like to see from shows moving forward. So I have a few things, a few comments in which I would like for television shows just to work on, show us less of, and show us more of in this upcoming year of 2021. The first thing that I would like to see from television in 2021 is casting actual queer actors for queer roles. Like, this is something that Hollywood has been mishandling for decades. And while, yes, there are instances in television shows like Pose in which we actually get to see queer actors portraying queer characters, it's still very far and few. And it's also interesting in which these television shows position themselves to be highlighting the experience of these queer characters, but they still have it in which straight actors are depicting them. We have it in Insecure, in which the gay brother Amal is played by a straight man. We have it in the Hulu series Love Victor, in which the main character is playing a gay teenager, is played by a straight person. We also have it even in like sci-fi series like Lovecraft Country on HBO. The character Montrese is played by Kenneth Michael Williams, who is a straight man. It's just really tiresome. A lot of these straight actors who come in and try to depict queer characters, they end up just being a caricature of the queer person that they are portraying. It ends up just being a minstrel show, if you will. I don't understand how an actor can add or contribute to a character's development if it's not something that they have experienced. And it's also so interesting to me because when we keep hiring straight act, it's like, what's our intention when we're talking about highlighting queer people's experiences when we keep also then locking out the queer people from being able to portray them? It's like queer people already can't play the straight roles because of stigma, stereotypes. So when there's actual roles available and then you don't hire the queer actors, I'm questioning what your intent is as a creative team to highlight the experiences of queer people. I think that we should definitely hire queer actors who are experiencing queerness. I'm not to say that just because you experience something that you're going to be the expert at it, but you'll be able to come to the role with a better lens and understanding what this character is to the main storyline and what their objections are and how they move and interact amongst other people and other aspects in which the television show is trying to portray. Also, a side note with that, if when we decide to depict black characters, it would be really nice if their love interest was not white, because black queer couples do exist. I would like for more shows to depict the lives of black people all throughout the diaspora. Too many times when it talks about depicting blackness through television, it's very focused on the American experience of black people. And we say this all the time, but we're not a monolith. So I found it to be so refreshing and so enjoying just to watch black people experiencing blackness outside of America. Some of my favorite shows in which they were able to depict this was I May Destroy You on HBO, which was led by Michaela Cole. There was this South African series on Netflix. It was called Blood and Water. It had to do with like this teenage mystery about the students in this private school. That was really enjoyable to watch. There was this horror movie on Netflix. It was called His House, and then it told the story of this African couple who were immigrating from the South Sudan to London, in which they started experiencing like paranormal activity in their house. I just know that our experiences are so vast and there's still enough in which we can connect with each other to be able to tell different stories and different experiences and me be able to learn different cultures. I enjoyed seeing black people a part of the diaspora depicted in Hollywood lens. Too many times through Hollywood, the black American experience is hyper focused and drowns out the experience of other black people throughout the diaspora, and that's just something that I really enjoyed. I would like to see fully fleshed out fat characters in television shows. I'm talking to you, Insecure, with Kelly. Too many times with Kelly, she's just there as a plot device. She's just there for comedic relief. We don't know that much about her. They do a lot of showing and no telling. There was at least one season in which we got to go to her job, but that was just in a plot line to further advance Issa's storyline. Like, we never get to see what's going on with Kelly. We never get to see her humanity. We never get to see anything outside of like jokes. I just want to see the fullness in which fat people are depicted on television. Also, with Sex Education season 2, they introduced like a dark-skinned black fat girl. Loved her, seemed to have her own goals, but it really was just introduced to advance the male character in the television show, and then she ended up getting caught up in some romance. It just was in a service to the other characters, are just a lot of fat characters are just not bought into the fold completely at all. So I would like to see more fully fleshed out fat characters that are just not a plot device. I like for television to have interracial couples that don't have white people. Like Shonda Rhimes, I'm sorry sis, but you are the number one guilty culprit of this. Every single thing on ABC with the Shondaland was all interracial couples with a white person attached to the hip of the non-black person. Like, Lord Jesus, do y'all not know of any other dynamics in which people of different races date each other? It's very tiresome. Like, we do not have to have interracial couples always center around whiteness. Like, I, I thought that's the whole point of showing the diversity in which relationships can be, is like getting away from whiteness and not having that be like the center of everything. And also, I want to say that like interracial couples are not like the revolutionary move that y'all think it to be. If anything, if we're talking about being progressive, or if we're talking about being radical, revolutionary, black love is revolutionary. We live in a society that is teaching us to hate ourselves. Like, so loving on black people, depicting black couples, black queer couples, black love, that is the progressive move that you would want to show in a progressive, forward thinking television series. So I would like for more of that. Like I said, Shonda Rhimes is not the only one who is guilty of this. Like I said earlier, a lot of times when they're depicting like black queer couples, we always see like a white counterpart. There's never just two black people loving on each other on television, especially with the queer people. So I would like to see more of that. Another thing that goes in the regards of television is I would like for diverse casts to actually be diverse. A lot of shows be claiming to be diverse. Ain't no fat people, no trans people, no dark skinned people. And if they do have those people, they pick like the most Eurocentric, idolized version of that. So if you're picking a trans person, you better pick a thin white person. If you're picking black people, pick a light skin, thin, muscular build, one that is palatable to white audiences. It's just I'm like, what communities are we trying to serve when we talk about diversity? Because if we're talking about going there, these are the qualms that people of color and black people have had, that that shows are not diverse enough. And so when you only put like the watered down versions of it, it still feels like you're not listening to the requests in which people would like for diversity to be a part of shows. And if you're not going to do that, then stop positioning your show as like the diverse be all show. Euphoria. It's just like a little bit, it's like vanilla ice cream and the sprinkles be the diversity. When it's like we should be having all flavors that are not vanilla. That should be that diversity. It's like the flavors of the ice cream, not the sprinkles on top. Another thing that I would like from television in 2021 is no more reboots and remakes of our beloved properties. I know it's already on the way. I can't stop it. They're already got a Fresh Prince of Bel Air reimagining in development on the Peacock streaming service. Every year, Disney is doing a live action remake of one of their classic animated fairy tales. But I just think that it's so stagnant and it lacks so much creativity. Like, there's so many untold stories that we could be telling out there. Like, everyone, I know it's hard to like grasp, but everyone's life is a movie. Like, you have experienced some extraordinary things that I'm sure if you sat down with yourself or a team of writers can easily draft up a whole ass series stories for in which that would be engaging and entertaining and captivating and people would be intrigued by. Like, I don't think people realize like how vast and wide of the things that we can consume and how vast and wide your own like interests are and what the things that you're curious about. I've watched so many different stories. There's so many different stories that have not even been told or depicted on the silver screen. So many people out here telling stories on YouTube, just trying to get their original content created. That is more what I want of. That was more, I want more ideas. I want ways in which we've never thought before depicted on screen. Like, there's just so many creatives out here with fresh, new ideas, perspectives, in which they would like to tell stories, and we just keep rehashing the same things over and over again. And it's just so lazy, and it's just through a capitalistic lens. And like, I get it. You can like right now currently everything that fuels us is money, but there's money in being in telling like unique unheard stories. Like, there's a yearning for that. There's people want to have stories in which they've never seen themselves on screen before. Like, we're barely scratching the surface in which people feel seen on screen. Like, why not keep exploring that instead of going to the past? So in 2021, Please, let's just dead these reboots and remakes and tell some original stories. The last thing that I would like from television in 2021 is no more overtly sexual teenager shows like Euphoria and Sex Education. Like, I get it, we're trying to depict these lives of teenagers accurately and more authentically, but it's weird when we're like literally viewing what we see to be as teenagers having sex, even with them being casted as adults. Like, let's just make these characters young adults. I don't see, like, they end up getting 18 to 21-year-olds playing these teenagers. I don't see why we couldn't just have explore the lives of a young 20 something, of a young person who just graduated high school and is going to be exploring college. Like, we could have a show like Dear White People, in which the sex scenes from young people are appropriate because they are adults. It just feels very inappropriate and intrusive to be consuming the sex lives of teenagers on television. Like, I'm all for teenager shows being more grounded and more authentic and told through this like realistic lens, but we don't have to see them have sex. That just doesn't have to be part of their depiction. But I'm super excited for what is to come from television in 2021, especially since my black ass will be at home for the unforeseeable future because of the pandemic. But I would love to hear y'all thoughts. Like, what shows in 2021 and previous did you really enjoy, but that you had fair, valid criticisms of? What shows that you just completely hate and that you just would like to see trends die off in 2021? What shows did you just enjoy and looking to seeing their new seasons to come in 2021? Feel free to leave all those thoughts in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the Chris B. Noah family. Happy 2021, Happy New Year, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!